Good morning. I'm going to take a few moments and do some saging. Wait till some people join in. How's everybody doing today? It's a beautiful day outside today. The sun's shining. The birds were chirping pretty early this morning, so it means it's going to be a good day. So, I'm going to begin soon. This week, I'm going to be bringing to you the FaeryTales Unveiled segment, and this is the present moment. In this time period through the Mercury retrograde, the fairies had come to me and wanted to share some of their wisdom. So last week we did a segment with the past situation. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, go back and see that and then watch this one. But for now, watch this one because it's fun. I'm going to be pulling some cards a little later for people who want to ask questions. I'll leave some time for that. I'm also wanting to share something special with you today. A lot of people are going through a lot of difficult situations right now, and they really don't have any emotional release for this. So I'm sharing a little bit of a ritual today. One of my clients last week asked if I would share this online in one of my readings, so I'm going to do that today. And while this is going on in the background, we're going to pull the readings out. But first, we're going to do it, okay? And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do it. First thing we do is we get some sort of a plate that is fireproof. Typically, most people would use a cookie sheet or something like that. But I'm going to just use this beautiful plate that I use for my special cleansing ritual. The next thing I'm going to do is get a metal bowl. This is what I use. I only use it for this, any kind of a metal bowl. Then you line it with tin foil, okay? You put it on your plate, and then you get some Epsom salts. You pour it in, about a cup, okay? Then you're going to get some good vodka, and you're going to pour about 3/4 of a cup of this. And this, okay, so I'll tell you what this does. The metal grounds everything. The salt is something that cleanses everything in the air, especially in your emotional energy field. You'll literally feel, if you guys do this at home, you will feel the energy be pulled out of the air. You may even feel some calming through the energy of just watching the fire. However, what I'm going to tell you is this is very volatile. So you need to have it in a space where you're going to be and you can watch it and have something to cover it in case it gets out of hand because you're using alcohol. So that grounds it, the salt grounds it and purifies everything in the air in your energy field. So you want to sit with this while this happens. About half a cup of vodka, spirits. We're calling in our spirit to purify our spirit, to hear our spirit energy. Rubbing alcohol. It's just going to help it burn, and this is 70% actual alcohol, okay? And I decided today to mix it up. Typically, that's all you need. However, I'm going to add a little bit of wine to sweeten the energy that we're dealing with. So all of these energies are spirit. We are calling in our spirit and to purify the energies around us so that we can hear the messages being brought to us. You pour that on and you let that soak in. Okay? And then you light it. I typically use the end of an incense stick, something like that. And when you light this, it will go. So you really want to stay close to it. Okay? And I'm not sure if you can see it on the air, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can see it, where it is. And you will literally feel the energy, no matter what emotional energy you're dealing with. it will pull it out of the air so that you can sort of balance the emotional energy that you're contending with. I can feel the heat from that coming way from over here. So understand that this is volatile, and as it goes, we will do it. When we're done, it takes about a half an hour to burn, about 20 minutes to burn down, and then you want to wait about a half an hour before you take this and you're going to throw the whole thing out in the garbage, right out of your home. Take it right out, but make sure it's out. But that stuff is containing all the negative energies, and so that will help you through your difficult times, what you're contending with right now. All right, so we're going to do a pick a card this morning with the FaeryTales energy, and we're going to use a couple of other decks. We're going to use a Celtic deck and the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, but I wanted to use the FaeryTales. I'm going to have a choice for you guys to pick from 3 different decks and 3 different piles of work, and we're going to see what it is that you guys are dealing with in the present moment. Typically I go by astrological signs, but I'm not doing that with this time. If astrological signs come out through the reading, I will say so. However, this is a pick a card, and so I'm going to make 3 different piles. It'll just take me a moment to shuffle this energy, and as you guys are thinking about things you want to know and that you're dealing with, that energy will go into these cards, as well as whoever else needs to hear a message. So remember, this is a general reading, and I will do my best to pull out specific energy for each person. So in the first pile, we have Faery Ointment, Sight. That's the title of the first one. The second one is The Rose Elf, Revelations. And the third one, the third one is What Came and, sorry, that's difficult to read. What Came of Pickling Flowers, Greed. Okay, so that's the guidance. There's other ones that are popping out, but I'm not going to take them right now, maybe at a later time. I'm going to pull out now a couple of other cards from the Celtic Tarot deck to tie in the energies of the fairies. When you're dealing with emotional energies, this typically you would just sit calmly, maybe listen to some meditative music as well while this is doing so, but we're going to do this during this reading. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Sorry, this is taking a little bit of time, but I wanted to shuffle online to grasp everybody's energy that is listening, okay? So one more shuffle for what's happening here. Okay. So need to get 3 separate piles. 1, 2. Alright. In a minute, I'm going to put these down so you can see it, and you're not looking at my face, but you're looking at the cards as best I can do this. So I'm just going to turn this down a little bit if I can, and I'm going to turn this towards you so you can see the cards. Okay. You're just going to, oops, sorry. I can just turn this down a little bit. You're just going to take a moment. Boy, my phone is not wanting to stay put. Sorry about that, guys. I'm making you dizzy. Take a moment and meditate on the cards. And the one that calls to you, that's the message that you're going to be listening to, okay? So just take your time with this. Allow the energy to flow through and feel it come in. So I'm going to be turning them around now. Whoops. My goodness, you're falling all over the place, guys. Sorry. I just wanted you to look at the cards because it was important rather than be looking at me. But for now, I'm going to pull this. Oh my gosh, this is a really bad thing when I move it. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll have it think of a different way, but for now, that's what we have. So we'll begin with the first pile, and that's Fairy Ointment Sight. Okay? So, see what else we have going on here. We have Regret, and we have the Lord, and we have Ace of Pentacles and King of Cups. This is going to be an interesting reading, guys. I'm telling you, it's going to be nice. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Ointment. I feel like you're seeing something before I begin this pile, this first pile. I feel like you guys are having a gift of your psychic awareness opening, your clairvoyance opening. So you guys may have visions, you may have dreams, that type of thing coming in, new ideals, understanding past situations that needed to leave, and new ones coming in. That's strongly what I'm feeling, and you're not quite understanding at this present moment that this space, the in-between space, is a healing time. So the fairy tale here, this is a lesson from childhood, and these fairy tale stories are quite interesting, so take a moment and just listen to the energy of it. It's number 43. These fairies have been with you since childhood and have come to you at this time so that you can hear that message, so you can feel that ringing in your heart and in your mind correctly. And I am sensing strongly that these fairies do want to work with people who want to work with them. They do live in realms close to us, and they are very real. And if you don't know or never come in contact with their energy, you will want to understand that calling them in and working with them is a very wise idea. Okay? So the first pile. Sorry I'm going on here, but the other thing is silver spoons they love, and you can call them in with that, and crystals and so on. So 43, sight. Ah, you see so much, he said. Now pray. With each eye, do. And what do you see in all of this? With the right eye, be sure, she said, as proud as can be to find him out. Look at that. As soon as I start reading, all of this went out. Oh, that's really hot. Don't touch it. But look at that. The fire's gone right out. It's bubbling, it's going, but it's really like pulled out a lot of emotional energy. And as soon as the fairy cards start reading, there we go. That's amazing. Okay. So, there is an old fairy legend that states if you wipe pollen gently across your eyelid, you will be able to see the fairies. Look at that. I have not read this, guys. These are brand new cards, and I'm opening up the energy with you guys. And I will be reading them later as I get more familiar with them in my typical signs. But as I bring them in, that is what I just said before I read it. Like, I had to pause because I had to read it twice. I'm like, that can't be. I've never read this, and that is coming out for you. So those of you who are not believing in the fairies right at this moment, I feel like this is part of what you do. You're going to see them. You're going to see them. You guys, that's really exciting because I remember when it happened to me. Okay, there's an old fairy legend that if you wipe pollen across your eyes, then you will be able to see the fairies. I did not know that. This tale is of a wise woman and a healer hears knock in on the door at midnight. At the threshold stands a strange little man who asks the healer to come with him to tend his wife and baby, for she is too ill to care for herself. Dame Goody did not like the look of the man, but when you heal, you go where you are called, and so he helps her onto the back of his steed, a wild coal black stallion with his eyes of fire, and together they ride into the night. When they arrive at the little cottage, Dame Goody is called to the mother's side, and she hands him a pot of ointment oh, sorry, I missed a page there. She hands a pot of ointment to the good woman and tells her to stroke the baby's eyelids with ointment, and soon as it is awakened. Dame Goody awaits, and the child awakens, and as the babe opens its eyes, she strokes them gently with ointment, smelling pollen and sunshine and butterfly wings. Curious, she then strokes little a little onto one of her own eyes, then slowly gazes out. And slowly gazes about her. Entrance for the woman she tends in the unearthly beautiful. Boy, that didn't sound very good, did it? Sorry about my reading. And I'll read it again. Curiously, then strokes into just one of her eyes, and then slowly gazes about her, entranced, for the woman she tends is unearthly beautiful, for long and fair in form, her voice like a bell chime, and the child prettier than the babe she's ever seen eyes upon. After so many years of nursing them, the clothes seem spun of the finest silvery gray silk, and the little brothers and sisters are all pointy-eared and big-eyed and pale as snow. The world has changed about her forever, and she has now the sight and could see from the true form of all things. But she is wise and kept silent on the sight, and she checked the baby and the lady in the bed again, and judging her well enough to rest now, the babe cared for, she asked if she could return home, and the fairy man gathered her up and placed her again on the midnight steed, and to her cottage they went as a dawn broke, and clean streaks across the sky. He handed her purse filled with gold coins, more money than she had ever seen before, and he thanked her gruffly, but with respect he left. The next day Dame Goody went to the market, taking some of the gold, and with her to purchase little things that she had never seen before or be able to afford. Who do you think she saw? 'Twas the ferryman from the day before, plucking fruits and flowers, hats from heads, and eggs from hens laying in their pens, and not a person seemed to mind. She was grateful for his generosity for the day before. So often she was paid in herbs and simples rather than coins, and so I don't even know what this word is. Curtsied. Oh, she curtsied. There we go. How often do we curtsied? And so she curtsied and smiled and wished him a pleasant day, and asked after his wife. Gooden sir, I hope as how you're a good lady, and the little ones are well. But startled was the ferryman, and he jumped back, his face sudden red with rage. What? He cried out, not a soul turned around. You can see me? He demanded. Yes, she said quietly, beginning to feel the chill of fear climb up her spine. Ah, you see too much, he said. Now pray with eye that you see all this. She backed away, touching her right eye, and she struck her with a wand, or a stick, or perhaps a sparkling flow of energy. She fell to the ground. Whoops, excuse me. She fell to the ground. The ointment, cried the ferryman. Take that for meddling with what you don't concern you. You shall see me no more. And she never saw from that eye again. Now, when this card comes to you, know that there are times when you will see what you see, with your gift and your sight put into it more than others wish to know. But you must choose wisely when to speak of this, and when to keep silent, and only to yourself. For we have these gifts, some boast of them, and that is no way to use this gift. When you will work with the gift humbly, and only when you are openly asked to give yourself help, to be able to use it. But at other times it is best to keep it very, very quiet, and never again take anything from the fairies without them offering it to you first, for to take from them is to lose a great deal. That's quite the story I'm feeling here. So guys, you people are dealing with your psychic ability of sight coming in. You may be having visions, like I said before. You may be dealing with knowing what people are going to do before you do it. So here's what they're saying, is to be wise when to talk about these things, and wise and when not to. I can tell you, growing up being psychic, it is a very challenging situation when you're faced with knowing some real truths and seeing people in the most beautiful form, because in the spirit form, everybody doesn't contend with the problems they're facing here on this planet. So those of you with the gift of sight that have been given to you by the fairies, I feel like if it is awakening now, or if it has been awakened and you have had troubles with it, now's the time of knowing when to use it correctly. So I'm just going to hold this up. I'm feeling like your gifts are many. And I feel like there are people who are jealous of you, so you're going to notice this and you're going to recognize it, and you're going to be able to calm that energy out. And hang on a second. Sorry. I feel like when this energy... Are you kidding me? They're flying everywhere. I think the fairies are in the room messing with me. You might find that fairies, you might be really, this next little few weeks, you might be a little clumsy. You might be dealing with misplaced things. You might be dealing with confusion. I feel like these fairies are all helping you to see when the right time is to conduct yourself with the energy that you need to. I feel like it's psychic protection. And keeping quiet is very wise for you right now. That's what I'm feeling. So, in the past, I do feel like you have divulged important information to somebody who had power over you, and I'm feeling like they misused this, and the fairies want you to know that that gift has been misused by them and by you, by not recognizing that they haven't worked or deserved anything for you to have that, for you to share that information with them. So I'm feeling like this is a time that you need to be sort of more quiet and inward thinking about what it is you're contending with. I'm telling you, these cards are flipping me out, because I'm gonna like flip this down so you can see what's going on. I just went down. This was facing up, and then I turned around. It was facing down. I swear that fairies are seriously playing tricks on me right now. So maybe that's a way for a message to keep us humble in our sights. Not everything we see psychically is so. And so really be careful about what is coming towards you and see past the original vision. So when you have energy come in, sit with it for a while and see, is this correct or is it not? How is my energy showing me? How is my perception through my psychic ability being interrupted in some form? And that's what the message I'm really getting here. I feel like when you do this, you see how your psychic ability comes forward and where it is correct, and you start putting it in all aspects of your life. I feel like you people who have picked this card, you're dealing with this at home in particular, but then you bring it out into the world and you handle it with loving care for people. So those of you who are gifted in this way, I feel like it's very healing for people. Some of you yourselves might be psychic and working in a similar nature of like what I'm doing. So what you have to offer is all very good things here, and you are being blessed if you're awakening psychically. I feel like the fairies are guiding this, and it's what's supposed to happen right now. So really honor that gift. And I'm sensing here you should, they're telling me that you should leave little like silver spoons around your home, or if you're building an energy space for where you want to learn to channel or have visions, the fairies will help you. And so put things like I feel like silver spoons, crystals, that sort of thing, they like. And I'm also sensing candies as well. And they like you to clean your air, and maybe that's some of the reason why we did this ritual here. So I'm going to put this aside now, because I don't really want that in the vision anymore. And so I am feeling that this is overcome, this past energy is overcome of regrets. You are no longer denying your psychic ability, and you're actually listening to what's happening with you. So now we're going to move on to the the second deck. I'm not really sure why I said that, but okay. This is a really interesting pattern here. So we have the Rose Elf. This is the second pile. So those of you who have picked the second pile, we have Revelations. these cards are going pretty well, pretty like well together. I'm really fascinated with what they're pulling out here. This is a beautiful deck of cards. I absolutely love them, and I love the messages. I want to get used to using them, and what the author has put out. I'm going to be using them in my regular decks, so I just find them fascinating, and their energies are so great. You know, from the fairy realm, these fairies have given us these tales to help us through our adult life. They're adult stories for children, and they're huge lessons that bring us energy right now. So we have spirituality, we have abundance, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Empress. So people, what this means, and the long and short of it, if you want to listen to a long drawn out story, I feel like there's lots of messages coming in, but if you want to listen to just the short story, when you are spiritually correct, you have revelations about financial abundance. Your money comes in correctly, and it is coming in. If you are concerned about money, you are mastering work, and you are coming to the energy of receiving. The Empress is receiving energy. This is not just about a woman coming in or mastering your womanly energies. It is about the feminine energy, including with males, that you are receiving money. And this is all about hard work. This is diligent hard work. All of your hard work is paying off now, guys. You are having revelations of the hard work and the difficulties that you have gone through. You're now seeing that that's what you had to do to get where you are, to have the wisdom of this Empress. Everything is about money and love here, guys. It's all about money and love coming in. That's really fantastic. Some of you may be traveling to the British Isles, I'm feeling. Some of you may have, when you get there, you may have some spiritual visions, or you may be, not necessarily just the British Isles, but I feel like the fairies are working with this particular realm. The fairies are also telling me that the fairies might not show up at different spiritual locations anywhere in the British Isles. If you're watching this, I feel like they're going to show, the fairies are going to present themselves to you, because that's sort of where they feel they like to be for the most part. The ones that are working with this group right now, the second group. And I also feel like if you go anywhere else in the world and you're traveling and there's a spiritual gift, they're going to send spiritual energy to that place for you to receive specifically. So they're working with you, but they won't be there. They're telling me that strongly. They will be in the British Isles, though, if you go there. I feel like you get a lot of spiritual reception, a lot of spiritual abundance. Not just financial, but you have the money to do what you want to do, but I feel like the spiritual is where the value is, okay? That's where the value is. And that's where I feel like, you know what I'm going to say? I feel like people who are struggling with money, you finally get that you are money. You finally get that you are everything that you want. All you have to do is understand the connection alchemically to where you are. And that's the difficult part. So I feel like right now you're getting that all the hard work is how you get there. It is not an instant manifestation of anything, whatever bullshit you've been led to believe. I feel like you're told your mastery and your receptivity of money comes in through the hard work and the diligence, the discipline. I feel like there's a lot of energy about discipline here. I'm also feeling like when I look at this card, I feel like a lot of you also may be having psychic visions as well as in the first deck, so you may want to listen to the first pile. But this revelations here, I'm also feeling that you may be channeling. You guys may be channelers, so to develop that skill may come in through a lot of diligent hard work, a lot of meditation. Listen, it comes to some people naturally, like myself, but even so, when it comes naturally, I feel that those things have to be developed. You need a guide to help you through those things. So wherever you find that spiritual guidance, be cautious, I'm feeling. I feel some people will take advantage of your good nature and your finances, so be cautious of that. I feel like if you pick a spiritual leader, you must be very careful in your pickings and to make sure you follow your own inner compass. There's a lot of crazy people out on the internet are just after your money or power. Like, it's just so weird to me how someone has taken spirituality and twisted it like that. But anyways, it's what we have to contend with in the real world. So watch that you're receiving from the spiritual knowledge, not just giving for the spiritual knowledge. If you are contented with that, then that's where the fairies are saying that's where you need to go. But be careful to release energies that you need to in order to spiritually progress. And I feel like when that happens, guys, that's when the finances come in. So that's a beautiful reading. So this fairies have been protecting you till this time for you to receive the money. I feel like now is the time of where you're going to know what to do with it spiritually. Where if they had given you the gift before, earlier, you wouldn't have known what to do with it correctly. So that's amazing. And they're telling me there's something about lessons in discipline. So maybe meditating and contemplating what the fairies were trying to tell you and work with you since childhood. Some of those, maybe read I'm getting strongly like read like things like Aesop's fables, stuff like that. You know, if you have children, read them the stories. If you have grandchildren, read them the stories. I'm really sensing, or whatever, children around you, I feel like you're going to get the knowledge and the understanding as an adult. You're going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't really get that as a child. So you're going to really integrate some of those lessons, and as those children grow older, those fairies are going to be passed on, and they are like those fairy godmothers that they get passed on, and the wisdom gets passed on to your children or grandchildren or your children that you love, your friends' children, whoever. Maybe you're babysitting, something like that. I'm not really sure, but I feel like those people are going to pass on great wisdom. So listen to fairy tales, even, or I mean, if you don't read a lot or tend to listen, or if it's video, however it comes to you, not just like movies, but actual Aesop's fables, correct ones. So go on a podcast or something like that. Maybe I'll even put some out for kids or something. I don't even know yet, but I'll try to with my schedule. I'll try. It's an idea that I have come to, that it's important for children to be listening to these things, because the wisdom is so great, and they may not like put it together as children, but they piece it together as an adult. So trust that this is very, very important for people. Okay, so the next one is greed. What came of pickling flowers? So when I see that, I'm sensing that some of you may be dealing with very greedy people in and around you. Okay, look at, these are beautiful cards. So I'm going to try to hold them all up, as there's 5 of them. We have the Druid. Oh, sorry, hang on a minute. We have the Druid, and we have dedication. We just talked about dedication in the last one. So those of you who picked pile number 3, you might want to go watch pile number 2 as well. I feel like it's applicable just the same as this one. So then we have the 8 of Swords, and we have the Knight of Pentacles. So here we go. I'm feeling like this energy here, somebody here, people, has taken advantage of you, this group number 3. I feel like you have been taken advantage of in some spiritual nature. Wow, this is interesting how this is all connecting, intertwining with all of the 3 readings. I'm going to say this too. You guys need to listen. Pile number 3, you need to listen to number 1 as well, because it is about discipline and dedication and doing the correct thing spiritually. So you may want to delve into that reading as well. So for what you're dealing with right now, I feel is greed. We're going to read here number 23. Forgive my reading. I don't practice this, and I maybe should before I do, but it's hard to practice when you're you don't know what cards are going to come out. Okay, so what of the pickling game flower? What oh my gosh, really? What came of pickling flowers? Greed. There was once a woman who had 3 daughters whom she loved very much. One day the eldest was walking with a water meadow. When she saw a pink glow in the stream, she stooped to pick up the flower, but her hand had scarcely touched it when she vanished together. The next morning, the second sister went out to the meadow to see if she could find any trace of the lost girl. And as a branch of lovely roses lay trailing across her path, she bent down to move it away, and in doing so she could not resist plucking one of the roses. In a moment she too had disappeared. Wondering what could have come of the 2 sisters, the youngest followed in the footsteps and fell victim to a branch of delicious white jasmine. So what? The old woman was left without any daughters. So rare old tales make good use of enchanting number of 3, And thus, when this card comes to you, know the power of 3 is being enacted and activated within your life. Throughout this story, 3 daughters are lost when they picked flowers for you. This message to be sure that what you take is yours to begin with. It is not the time to reap, but the time to sow instead. If there's any consequences of actions in the past, you will have help from the form of a young male who will use his wits and charm to assist, as a brother does within the tale. Your family will offer you help. Any relationships that you are in that are not working will transform. Each of the marriages of the daughters does too, which is free. Even by doing the impossible, killing a man who cannot be killed. So no matter how entrapped you may feel by destructive relationships and poor choices that you have made, know that there is always a solution, and that the solution is on its way to you now. The dove within the tale is the beginning of a new time of peace and pure love for you, and to return to people, friends, and family that you have isolated yourself from. That's quite an amazing tale. And so I'm feeling like those of you who have had ideals about different things that you want to do, you have maybe been unsuccessful, you maybe have a lot of jealousy around you, you may have put aside your emotions to contend with some difficult pains within family and that you were unable to deal with. And now I feel like throughout time, these fairies have given some moments of healing. And I do feel that there's a younger person possibly within your family that is coming towards you to heal some energy, or they just have this magnetic attraction towards you, and it heals. It's sort of like a glue that heals everything that comes towards you. I am feeling past life connection within this. We have the druids and dedication. I am feeling that you guys have had past lives with this person that you're reconnecting with within this Mercury retrograde time period. So probably about a week before a week at the end of the month, that this is when this meeting will come by and this rescue will come in for you. And so I feel like you guys have had energies from past lives that karmically you're going to deal with what you're contending with right now. That's what I'm feeling very strongly. So you know this person is dealing with whatever they're contending with. I feel like they have experience of what you're contending with. And there's quite a few things that you're dealing with. I want to go into, I feel like 10 different things, so I don't want to go into each and one. You guys know your situation. But whoever's coming forward has had skill in this, and even though they're younger, they have much practice, so they're going to give you a good hand, and there's going to be profit from this. There's going to be profit because it's the correct thing to do, and I feel like here someone has tried to keep you bound, and this person coming in is heartfelt. This person is coming to release these bounds. That's what I'm feeling strongly. And you're seeing where the emotional energy is that you have spilt out over these lost connections, and where you need to bring in the correct connections within family unit and strengths. I feel like other people have tried to take from you the third pile here, your power, and have undermined your it's like I feel like whoever has been with you has promised you a lot of things and has not contended, and they glamored you into believing they were with you, and they glamored you into feeling that they were right along with the plans, and they duped you. They just were in it for their own selfishness and their own greed. And this fairy, I feel, has been with you and contending with you in this kind of situation your whole life. So whoever I feel that is trying to take from you right now, guys, fairies, these fairies have been with you through the whole time, and nothing that has been taken from you can be. That's what I feel. And it's returned through this. It's returned through your dedication to not being greedy, and through correct living and correct dedication and the correct work. This person can't take from you what you have earned. And so this person another person is coming back in to reward your dedicated efforts. I'm feeling that strongly. And you recognize greed straight away after this, and you pull yourself right away. It's a huge protection. You pull yourself straight away from these people who come into your life that do this sort of thing right now. Okay, guys, so now I am going to be pulling a card for your individual questions. If you have questions, I would like you to think about what you want. If you are too shy to be pulling that on public, you're more than welcome to just say, hey, I'd like a card pulled, and I'll just read it. So you don't have to ask your questions out in public. But if you want, you can just think about it, and I will do my best to do a collective reading for people right now that you guys are thinking about things. But if you write down what you want, then I'll be able to see it, and it's easier for me rather than going through all the energy of trying to figure it out, your thoughts. It's kind of silly. So, I mean, we can do it like that, but if you want, it's much easier on me if you guys tell me what it is that you guys want to know about. I'm going to say something else. I was getting a message before when I was meditating that generally, if people just sit back and receive information all the time, you know, you're creative beings, right? I want to say this. I feel like the fairies want to say this. You guys are creative beings. They've been giving you gifts since you were little, and now they're awakening these gifts within you. And you may have some difficulty, but they're telling you that they're all here with you to help you through this path. And I feel strongly this, okay, that if you don't give direction to your life, life is going to happen to you. You're not going to create your life. Life is going to happen to you. You will always have a job doing other people's will. You'll always be trying to please somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with doing those things in unison. But I feel strongly the message was that you guys need to start asking spiritually the correct questions. Awaken yourself. Don't sit in a sleeping state constantly wanting to receive information. It's fine to have community. It's fine to be listening to these things where you're going to be fed spiritually, but participate. You know what I mean? The angels will definitely answer for you. And these fairies are here saying, I'm here. Okay, thanks. Here we go. Great. We have one question here. No question, but you've asked for something. So the energy is 10 of Wands, force. So I feel like you've been holding back here, Jody. And whatever you're holding back, I feel like the angels of the fairies, the energies of the fairies right now are telling you it's time to put your force forward. You're no longer to just be sitting back and watching and observing. So if you are getting I feel like if you are getting some good information psychically, pay attention. And you may be putting that aside. You may feel it. I'm going to tell you this. What I'm sensing is spirit, your psychic ability is subtle. It comes in outer realms. So it's far away from your aura, this information, and you have to pull it in. So take time when you get information. If you have a thought and you're like, I think this is correct, but then you ignore it, pay attention and notice how many times that you ignore it. And notice how many times that you put your energy forward in what you want. And when you put it forward, when you take that, I feel like you're a shy person for putting yourself, I don't feel like you're shy in general, but I feel like you're shy in putting your true nature forward, what your spirit, soul self wants to do. You're really afraid to do and express. I feel like you're afraid of, you have been in the past afraid of judgment from childhood. So that comes from, I feel, somebody making fun of you for your true talents, and they really attacked your psyche on that. So these fairies want you to know it's okay. You're very good at what you do. Your sole purpose, there's nothing and nobody that can take that from you. Whatever those sort of mean kids did, I'm feeling, to you when you were little, you really have been carried with you, and it's scarred you. And this is the time to heal that now, Jody, and put whatever it is that you're doing creatively. I feel it's very creative, and I feel it has something to do with music, even something, I'm not sure, but something like that. I feel like they're telling you, put it forward. Being in nature is going to be very positive for you to gather this energy correctly. So if you're getting blocks in your creative process, go out in nature, come back in. I feel like warm up, sit with something. I feel like I don't know, I'm sensing hot chocolate, but not tea or coffee, but hot chocolate. I don't know, do you drink hot chocolate? I'm sensing fire there in front of you. And so sit there and think about what you want to put forth. Think about write down your psychic ideas and put them forth then. So that's what I'm sensing there for you. That's really great. That's good. So I hope that is applicable for you there, and I hope that's helpful. So now whatever it is that you're creating, it's time to put it forward. But watch, I feel like you need, in one of the readings you were supposed to, even though you're picking up things psychically, you don't have to share everything. I feel like just putting your stuff forward and doing it, not talking about it. Yeah? Okay, that's what we got for you, Jody. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Take a few moments to pull some cards for you guys. Okay, well, somebody's thinking of something. Because, oh, we have two cards here. We have imagination and gain. All right, so whoever's thinking of the question, I was feeling that people are thinking about this, so I'm not sure who this applies for. Your idea right now is the time to put it forward. I don't feel like you're going to reap the rewards immediately. I feel like it's going to be a 2-month period, or possibly a 9-month period. You have the 9 of discs, so that's telling me that this is birthing possibly within 9 months. Whatever your ideals are here. The Queen of Swords, some of you maybe, I feel like somebody is coming towards you. Some people have, I feel like some people coming towards you have good ideas. A younger woman also, and I feel like some of you have a connection. Those of you who are dating a younger woman, I feel like that's going to grow into a very good union, and it's one that you've always wanted. That's what I'm feeling. I'm also feeling here that some of you be cautious. If you're with someone younger, they may be getting pregnant if you don't want that. But I'm feeling like, if it happens, you're okay with it too. So I feel like that's good. I'm good, Jody. I'm glad that that's applied for you. If you didn't have a chance to check in earlier, I did a ritual for healing emotional energy with fire. So whoever hasn't had a chance to see that, please go back to the beginning of the video, the introduction. There is a ritual for dealing with emotional energies, and it is very nurturing and healing. So please go back and check out how to do that, okay? So pregnancy. I feel like at first there may be a little bit of rock. I feel like if you look here at the clouds in the distance, I feel like in the past there's been a lot of struggle in whatever it is that you're trying to create here, and at this time, and so it's coming out of that now. You guys may notice something weird I'm feeling. Those of you who are coming out of a turmoiled situation, you may notice the sky color, sort of violet color. And I think that you notice it, and it's different. I feel like the sky colors are changing. And this is a sign for you that it's what you're creating is coming to fruition. I'm feeling like pink and like violet hues, like really like violet more than pink. Maybe a little pink, but violet. They're showing me on the astral plane. The fairies are showing me colors. They're also showing me that those of you who are dealing with this, with your imagination coming forward, your idea, the fairies may be helping you with your imagination, so call upon them, ask them for help, and I feel like you see things in your daydreams in very vivid color. Those of you that I'm talking to right now who are dealing with this, I feel like your ideas they're coming from the fairy realm, and the fairies are reminding you that they're not the fairies' ideas. They're telling me they're your ideas from childhood that the fairies are reminding you now. They've been carrying this for you and awakening right now for this energy to come in. That's what I'm feeling very strongly here, people. Coming out of that, there's like in the sky that turmoil, but yet there's very great wisdom coming from it. So the violet colors I feel like are representative of the wisdom coming in that you guys are recognizing in your collective area, not even just you in particular, but like you're cluing into that other people are waking up, you're waking up, and it's like the solar angels are fanning the flames of awareness through this. That's what I'm really sensing strongly on the esoteric level. And I am feeling some of you also in for this message are dealing with a crow or raven messages. Ravens may be coming to you very strongly. I did a reading with animals, I think on Sunday morning. I can't remember which one it was, I believe. And so there's maybe something for you to listen to the message with ravens in it. So I'm not sure what sign you are or what sign that was, but there was one of them strongly talked about raven messages. So you may want to watch that as well. Whew. That was a lot of information. All right. So does anybody else have any questions before I pull one more card for conclusion for what I feel you guys are going to work with? I'm going to pull a fairy card and read it for the last one. So if anybody else has questions, I'll gladly answer it. If not, then I'll move on to the fairy card. Okay, so collectively, one more for us, for what we guys are all dealing with. So we have the Frog Prince, Intimacy. So I'm going to read this. Excuse me while I put my glasses on. All right, I'm going to ask the fairies to help me with my eyesight and my reading. I don't read very often out loud. Read a lot to myself, but not out loud. All right. So I'm going to take a look at this in color. The Frog Prince, Intimacy. The frog answered, I do not care for any of thy clothes, thy pearls and jewels, or thy crown, or thy golden crown. But if thou wilt love me, and let me be thy companion, and play fellow, and sit by thee, and thy table, and eat off thy little golden plate, and drink out of thy little cup, and sleep in thy little bed. If thou wilt promise me, I will go down below and bring thee thy golden ball up again. Sorry about the glare. A princess, an only child, is consumed by her own world, where only what she wants is met that matters at any time. Thus her toys and possessions have been taken the place of relationships. She takes, and she does so often, and walks by herself. While she is selfish, she is also self-sufficient and independent. A golden ball is her favorite plaything. She is alone, and used to being alone and self-reliant. She loses the ball in the spring, in water, in emotions, memory, flow. She loves her playthings and weeps, and she could give up all the jewels and all the treasures just to have her ball back. And a talking frog comes out. He is an amazing frog, because not only does he speak, he shows compassion, because he wants to know why she weeps. The message for you with this card is intimacy. What you are not willing to let people in at present, and allow them to understand who you truly are, to learn that they are true, or to learn who they truly are. You are not seeing people, not truly. You are seeing only what is there before you, and that is not what it seems. They're equally available to you at present, charm and learning and wisdom and intimacy. Share food from your plate. Share your thoughts and words. There's a time someone wishes to get to know you very deeply, but are you repulsed? And is this what you must ponder when this card comes to you? If you have made a promise, you must keep it. The power of the word is very strong in fairy tales. So you think you can take the benefits of a relationship without the intimacy and lessons that relationship demands? It cannot happen. And if you work through the challenges of true intimacy, all the fear and abhorrence we feel opening up to one another, you will be rewarded. This is not a tale about accepting people regardless of their looks, although there is a touch of here in that too. It is truly about deep relationships and difficulty we feel in becoming truly intimate with another and sharing our lives with another. Relinquishing our isolation can repulse us. The princess, by keeping her word and letting him grow closer to her, breaks the spell. And while in some of it is telling, it would seem that the reward of its beauty and the true prince is hidden in the form of the frog, and it is about true intimacy and closeness that the great rewards can bring, and also about keeping your word. So the message for you is twofold. Who and what are you keeping at arm's length, and what have you to lose by allowing a worthy soul to grow close to you? What promises have you made that you have not fulfilled? That is an amazing thing, because I'm feeling strongly as I was reading this, many things in my life that I think about, what do I let in, what don't I let in? And I'm feeling like you guys are all feeling this too right now. When we take a chance, okay, let's say that this is, mainly I'm working with soulmate energy. So that's dealing with some finances, and that's been coming out a lot. I feel like a lot of people are worried about a lot of money. But at the end of the day, when they're hitting the sack, I'm feeling that they're thinking about their soulmate. They're being lonely. They're feeling like they want certain things. And people treasure these relationships. So I'm feeling that some of you are understanding the idea of a true, correct relationship is not always what's on the outside package. It's not a popularity contest. It's about what your soul feels and what your soul feels awakened to when you're with a person. And I'm really feeling like all the masks are coming off of this, and you're seeing, possibly some of you may be thinking about going back to somebody that you in the past may not have given the time of day to. And now you're like, you know what? This person's a good person. Maybe I'm not attracted to them, but they're a good person, and I would like to get to know them as a friend. And there's nothing wrong with that. So you decide that the levels of intimacy that you're going to put out now. So some of it's in a friendship way. It doesn't have to be in a romantic way. Just because you meant intentionally for romance doesn't mean that it has to continue like that. You take things slowly, and you go as you must to develop what you must. Take things easy. The internet has allowed us instant access to whatever people want. It is allowing people to have a lot of masks, and I'm feeling strongly that these things now are coming out to the fore, where we're seeing through the masks. I mean, look at the readings that came out here. Much of it was about pulling the illusion off of what people are trying to sell you. All this energy that the fairies really want to truly give you is a connection with the soul. Without these beings of light, guys, we don't have connection to the other side. That's what these beings of light do for us. So we must take their wisdom. They have wisdom beyond us, beyond human nature. So they know us well. They work in nature. They work in unison with nature. They make unison go. So if I were you, I'd be asking these beings of light, show me you. Where are you where I don't see you? Where are you? I'm seeing like these violet, like in that last reading, these violet colors in the sky. But where else are you seeing little twinklings of light in like where plants are, or where silver is? Or are you hearing things, or things being misplaced in and around you? Are the fairies trying to get your attention? Read the Aesop's fables, read fairy tales. All these types of things they're telling me are giving wisdom for you guys as adults, and it is not for children. Those stories, yes, they're created for children, but they're made for adults. Who reads them to children? Adults. You think about that, guys. And this energy is coming to you from a very hidden realm. So it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of joy. These fairies are beautiful and strong. When you see them through the veil, they look tiny, but in true form, they're very large beings. And so they're very powerful. Their magic is very powerful, and they will give you much energy if you let them in. So please, I implore you that you do. Thank you for joining me for this segment. I do hope that you liked it. And don't forget, this evening at 8 p.m., I'm going to be doing a Venus Dream Divining Hour. And we'll be working with the astral plane and what's up there in our mind's eyes, in our dreams, in our hopes and fears, and how to work through that maze of energy. And we'll be working with some interesting things tonight. So we'll hope to see you there at 8 p.m. And if you guys have questions, I will be leaving time at the end for live readings. And if not, we'll catch you a different time. And please enjoy this reading, and we'll talk to you later. Don't forget the fairy bells. Bye for now. We have to jingle them before we go. Bye.